So my experts are here.
Nice.
Chris, better known as Tom Cruise, look-alike.
Yep.
My expert, audio engineer and social media guy, you white.
Indeed.
Nick, my other expert, better known as the anchor baby, and the producer of the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and soon to have his own show.
Wow.
Come January of 2022.
Why?
If the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. Whatever happened to that shirt?
Well, you'll find out.
Better known as the shiny blouse.
The sparkly blouse.
Yeah, the sparkly blouse. And Hake of the HakeReport.com, my other expert, and the HakeReport.com from 9 to 11, Monday through Friday,
Nice.
Pacific time.
Indeed.
9 to 11, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time. So I was thinking about this. This is Manhood Hour. I noticed, I was thinking about when my son's mother, when I first met her in high school, my last year of high school, and I was thinking about how she had a nice little body. She wasn't fat at all, sloppy. And she dressed in a modest kind of a way. You know, not like one of those people on those things, but she dressed nice. And that girls at that time dressed in a nice way. You know, they dressed to show their little shape and, you know, but they didn't dress, they didn't dress like sluts.
Show the little shape.
Yeah, they dressed enough to show their little shape. But they didn't dress like sluts.
Right.
And then when you would approach them to date them, they would be all feminine about it. They weren't like sluts ready to jump in bed, right? And I noticed today, women pretend that they don't want to be raped. They pretend they don't want men all upon them, right? But today's woman at the beach and everywhere just dressed like sluts, nasty sluts, inviting you to rape them and hit on them and stuff like that. So I want to ask Chris first, being a millennial, what is it? Because when I see these girls, they all look like no good sluts. Nobody want to marry them. You want to have sex with them and throw them away, but not marry them. And they always cry rape, but they set themselves up to be raped the way they dress, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What's your impression? And I want to hear honestly from you guys. Not, I'm just talking about how it was. But what is, as a millennial, what is it like seeing these nasty sluts dressed the way? They have these little tight things on, they all up between their butt crack. They have their pants all the way up in there. Like up in there, up in.
Stop. We get it.
Yep.
So,
Understood.
And at the beach, they look all nasty, these bikinis, begging to be raped.
Yeah.
What is it for you? I mean, being a millennial, what does it look like to you to see women dressing like sluts today?
Well, if I'm being perfectly honest, it's gotten worse, but scantily clad women in bikinis and what have you, it's not that out of the ordinary for me. I mean, I grew up in California. The ocean is, just a little ways away from where I grew up, so I'd, go to the beach every summer. And
Danny's getting the phone.
I'm always around scantily clad women.
So
I mean, it's pretty normal for me.
What
can I say? But I mean, just
ever
specifically,
since you've been on Earth, women been dressing like sluts.
I would say it's gotten worse, but to say that, I mean, they were wearing bikinis, scantily clad clothing. I mean, I've noticed that since I was very young.
And does it look normal or does it look slutty? Like all these women just begging to have sex.
Well, yeah, I still understood it to be slutty, but I thought that wasn't out of the ordinary.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
I can imagine that if you're born into a world that is already that way, you have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, like I said, I could tell when it was like crossing the line, and especially nowadays, it's just, I mean, it's insane. But like I said, growing up, I could see that pretty regularly, and I just thought like, okay, that's just how women dress at the beach or when they want to, just look or dress in kind of like a sexy way. Like that's what they do.
But they dress like that at church, at home, at the gym, going to the park, going to the grocery store, anywhere. They just look like sluts all the time. It seems is that they're so insecure that all they have going for them is their little fat bodies.
Fat bodies. Or their little shape.
Yeah, a little shape.
They're still showing their little shape.
Right.
Yeah.
As a millennial man,
Right.
what is it like seeing that every day? Was it like that when you were born into the earth too? They were already dressing like sluts?
Well, I mean, I'm not making the distinction of just the beach, but I just mean in
Right,
general.
not just to be all over everywhere.
In general.
In the market,
Yeah.
when they were raping and robbing.
In general, I've seen it get worse. I really have. And I remember just the whole like tights thing. Now it's like everywhere. They're always wearing the tights now, the yoga pants or whatever.
Yeah, even fat women wear those things. I'm like,
Big time.
what in the world think you?
And now that they got the new
You got all
scrunchy
this
ones.
belly hanging out. Why do you think you can wear tights outside?
And now they got the new scrunchy ones, which I think that's what you're talking about.
What's the scrunchy one?
I don't know what it is, but it looks like a scrunchy. I don't know.
What it look like?
Where it goes all up in there, like you were
Yeah,
saying.
it look like two hands on the back of their butt cheek, and then this thing going up in there.
And it's like people making these pants, they're not dumb. They know that, okay, so this is the trend. This is what people want. Let's make a scrunchy pant. That just shows it more. But I see it everywhere, and I've seen it get worse. But here's what's weird is like I remember when I was quite young, thinking, okay, there was something weird about that. It's like, okay, you want me to look at you. You want attention. But then somewhere along my teens, I guess the world started teaching me that, well, a woman is allowed to dress any way she wants, right? You can't tell her what to wear. You know, that kind of whole thinking?
Really?
I kind of went into that a little bit. Yeah, for sure, because that's what everybody was saying. That's
Right.
what the world was teaching me. And it's
And
like,
you thought it was okay?
sort of, I kind of had to like be okay with it because it's a woman, right? She gets to present herself however she wants, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, a woman should be, right?
Well, this is what happens when men don't protect women from themselves. They just go out of control.
Totally. I came out of that realizing how insecure and attention, they just want attention seeking and what all that was.
It's definitely an insecurity on the part of the woman. But, Chris, they say they don't want to be raped, but they dress like, come and rape me.
Yeah, I mean, you never believe what a woman says. I mean, it's usually the opposite.
Yeah.
It's like I remember they used to make that argument like, oh, just because I'm wearing this doesn't mean you can. I forget what it is, but it's like a phrase that always say, just because I'm wearing like provocative clothing doesn't mean that you get to rape me. That the problem is in the man, not in me wearing the clothes. But it's like you almost forgot what the word provocative means, like to provoke. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I'm provoking you by wearing this. It's like there's gonna be evil people.
Poking the bear.
Yeah,
You out of your mind.
And again, it's not just the beach; it's everywhere. It's at church.
Yeah.
It's at the gym. Not my church, but other churches. It's at the park. It's at the playground. It's like when they have little children. I've seen women with little children dressing like sluts while walking their little kids to school or to the park or something.
I always made fun of my ex for putting on makeup to go anywhere, any dumb thing. She's like, oh, she'd have to put on her face. I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, just to like operate, you have to like wear all that stuff.
So hey, you're a millennial, right?
Yeah.
You are. And so have they always looked like sluts everywhere since you've been on Earth?
No, not always. But it was always kind of bad, but it's gotten a lot worse. I remember when my family members, the ladies in my family, they never wore the bikinis or anything.
Right.
And it was always it was oftentimes a controversy at schools because we didn't have school uniforms. Nowadays, a lot of kids have school uniforms.
Right.
But we didn't have school uniforms, so there was this thing about, oh, you can't have short shorts or crop top and stuff like that to the girls.
Right.
But they would still like bend the rules and break the rules and ignore it and point each other out, tattletale.
Why do they say they don't
And
want?
now they dress the kids like this,
Yeah.
the little girls like
Yeah.
like.
Why do they say they
prostitutes.
don't want to be raped, but the way they dress says, "Come and rape me"?
Because they want to have their cake and eat it too.
That's for sure. I gotta take a break. Over the last years or so, it's hard to find a female or woman that dress in a decent way. I see it more at my church than I see it out in the world, right? But when they dress in a decent kind of a way. But for the most part, it's hard to find a woman or see a woman that dress in a decent kind of way. They all dress in a insecure kind of a way. Like all they got going for them is their bodies, but when you see them like that, they look like they're begging to be raped. They look like sluts. Even the fat women be wearing those real tight things.
And then they complain about cat calls.
Right. But that's what they want because that's why they dress that way. Because a normal person wouldn't dress that way if they had, in a sense, of pride about themselves or shame or decency. What?
No, I wish I had pictures to show you. I'm thinking of like these Instagram girls all like with their makeup and they do this face like. And I'm just like, they think they're like, oh, I'm doing this such a sexy thing, but they look so dumb. Like,
And now they're dressing guys like that.
They always make the guy look like the woman to destroy him. But hey, and then I got to run from all three of you. Why don't men or somebody tell these women? Oh, let me ask this: when you see a woman dressed in a slutty way, tights on and all that makeup on her face, and not even sometimes not a lot of makeup, but just slutty.
Yeah.
Do you think, wow, that's the kind of woman I want to marry and make the mother of my children? Or do you think, what a slut, I'd like to have sex with that?
I don't think about family.
he thinks the second one. He's like, I want sex.
And they don't make you think that
I do
this
think
is...
prostitute oftentimes. Like that looks like a prostitute. Even though I know that it just because I know that didn't used to be like that, and
Right.
now they're doing it like that, and now there's like little girls who think that that's normal to dress like that, and then they get all hoity-toity about guys looking at them or giving attention to them.
And if you did look at them, they'd probably come out of the house naked
Right.
just to get the attention. What, when you see slutty women dressing that way, do you think, oh, I'd like to marry her.
I can
and
fix
make
her.
her my wife and the mother to my children. Or do you think, I want to have sex with
I
that?
think I can fix her. I'm joking. I can save her. No, not at all. No, I've never thought that. Even in the most fallen way, I thought that was. I was like, man, that's.
You just think,
That's
like to
not a
have-
mother. That's not a mother for sure.
You just think, I like to have sex with that and throw it away.
Pretty much.
Amazing.
It reminds me of Brother Dean Saxton
Uh-huh.
over at University
Oh,
of Arizona,
yes.
where he had that sign and he was saying, "You deserve to be raped by the way you're dressed."
They definitely beg for it, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you see them, do you think, oh, I'd like to marry that one and let her be the mother to my children? Or do you think, I'd like to have sex with that slut?
Well, I certainly thought the latter, that's for sure. But with the former about making them a wife or anything like that, when I was in my slut making days, I thought that maybe that was possible. That like sluttiness was part of the hotness, and so I just wanted a hot woman, and so I just thought, well, that's just part of the package, and I'll get a hot woman and. I'll marry her, and I guess I wasn't really thinking
She's
about.
a slut, but only for me.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about children at the time, but especially nowadays. Now I'm certain that it's just. I mean, it's only the low. When I see that, it's only the lower nature that is like, oh, look at that. But it's all bad. I just think of like, oh, that's horrible. She must be. I can only imagine the hell that's going on in her mind right now. And just throughout the day.
Yeah. When I see them, because I know when women used to dress in a decent, modest kind of, and they still show their little shape, but so it wasn't like, what's the name of those people that they still ride in buggies?
The Mennonites.
The Amish.
The
Yeah, the
Amish?
Amish. It's not like an Amish girl. You know,
Right.
like, she's taking the joke too far too.
Or the burkas.
She still
I'm just gonna
dressed
show her
like.
shape.
When I see women like that today, I'm telling you, I try not to, so I let all thoughts go. But I think she look like she has a disease. Like everybody been having sex with her, so I'm thinking she got some type of disease.
Slut disease.
Yeah, you know how you get. What do women
Yeah,
call that
STD?
stuff? Yeah, STDs and the
AD.
claps
Oh yeah.
and claps and stuff like
The
that.
clap.
You know what the claps is?
One clap.
No, it's. But I just
Singular
know
clap.
that it would be a
Oh,
great name for a
syphilis.
band, and also
That's old.
Oh, the claps is called the syphilis.
I didn't know
But
that.
women today, not the women from the good old days, but and these are like Christian women, and they look like they have some type. They've been having sex with so many men. They look like they may have some type of disease, but they be walking around like they think they're looking good. They may want to make sure you see their butt. Everybody got a big butt. I was thinking the other day. So I was walking on the treadmill.
Right.
And so you have a chance to look around while you're on the treadmill, when you're running on the treadmill. Mm-hmm. And I see all these nasty sluts walking around these tight things all up in there. Butt. And they be trying to make sure you see their butt. And some butts have been bought,
Yeah.
and you can tell those butts ain't come from God.
Bought and paid for.
Some of those been bought and paid for. I think, when did butt become so? It ain't the butt that the man want.
It's the homosexual agenda.
It might be.
Yeah, yeah, it's global homo.
Global homo.
It's the thing that's by the butt. It ain't the butt. And I'm thinking, these women look like they have diseases. They look like all sluts and insecure. So my question is, because when I would see a girl before, you think, nice, decent girl, you sure like to get with that, right? And that could be your wife and your mother to your children. But nowadays, you can't. They don't have that kind of appeal. So James, why don't men or parents or somebody tell women they need to dress in a more decent way
Because men are
rather
weak.
than looking like sluts?
Men are weak, and it's socially not acceptable to be saying stuff like that nowadays.
What do you mean?
Granted, now there is a movement to change that, but there's a lot of, oh, you don't tell a woman how to dress, like what Nick was saying, and you're slut shaming.
That's what it is.
Oh,
Slut shaming is a bad thing.
but it's
Stuff like that.
apparent that they don't know how to do it themselves.
Right. Yeah. That's why I liked what Brother Dean did and what you've done and stuff like that. And then fathers used to be that way too. They wouldn't let
Right.
their children go out like that.
They definitely won't allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Why don't? Oh, so have you ever, Nick, thought about telling a woman, you know what, you need to dress better. You look like a slut,
Yeah, yeah.
but you never said it.
Not to strange women.
Why not?
Strangers.
Maybe we should
like
carry a
strangers.
sign around.
I did, however, to girlfriends I had no problem.
Yeah.
I remember I actually even noticed they would, like, as the relationship would go on, they'd kind of push it. I'd be like, you're not wearing that. And I remember there was it was like a fight, but I'm like, I'm having this fight because you're not wearing that. Even in my fallen state, like I knew it was wrong.
And when you tell them they're not wearing it, they think you're jealous. They say, oh, you just jealous of some other guy. But no, you look like a slut,
Yeah.
a nasty slut. Nobody want me to walk around with no nasty slut.
I'd be like, I'd tell them, you're not gonna make me look like a fool out there, like
Yeah.
an idiot like that. So I would. I mean, now I'm gonna wait and see, but I feel like I'd be open to say to
Can
anybody
you
now.
see Nick at the gym now telling him, you look like a slut. Take that off. Have you ever considered telling the sluts they dress like sluts? And when I say slut, they all look that way.
Yeah.
Because they all, even the fat ones put on that stuff, they all up in their nasty butts. It's just,
Stop it.
What?
Stop saying all up in there.
But those pants be up in there. I'm just telling you how it is.
You made it worse.
Stop.
How?
Nick made
Put your
it.
hand-
Nick
I'm
made
not
it
quite
worse.
I
sure.
know.
I'm not quite
Put your
sure what
hand
you
down.
mean, Jesse. Could you give me like a physical, like a?
We're like,
Put your hand down.
Yeah.
they
Stop.
have these tight things on.
Yeah, go on.
And then when they walk past you,
Right.
you know, like the butthole string supposed to hang.
Yes.
It's all how are they comfortable like that?
I have no. Beauty is pain or something like that. That's something. That's one of the phrases I've heard.
Those things are so tight they don't have enough room to let out gas.
They don't. Girls don't fart. What are you talking about?
Oh no.
Now it's totally derailed. We've
we've
gone off the deep end here.
But in all honesty, though, somebody need to feel something for these women because they don't. It's clear they don't have decent parents to guide them. It's clear that the men that they're screwing because they all screw, they dress like that, they got to be having sex. They're not telling them how nasty they look. Somebody needs to love the women enough to say, hey, you need to change the way you dress. You like overdoing it. Are you insecure? There's something. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, they certainly need to do that. The issue that we're facing right now is all people are demoralized, and so it reflects in different ways. The man, your average man today, you know, maybe deep down they might not like it or something like that, but they're running on their lower nature, and so they like that sort of thing, so they would probably encourage it, or maybe not encourage it, but the reaction that they get from men is positive, and so the women just keep doing it and the men keep reinforcing it, and you know, it's just a vicious cycle that we continue on. I mean, sex is, again, like you were saying, when you saw a woman, you thought, oh, that's a nice woman. That could be a nice wife. That could be a nice mother. But when a man sees a woman, he's the first thing, he's only thinking about sex. So the sluttier, the better, because the sluttier they are, the more likely you are to get the sex from them. And if that's at the top, again, that's what they want. So they'll encourage the women to be like that. So we're in this very vicious cycle that just feeds into itself. So yeah, certainly we need men to put your foot down, and yeah, definitely in public, whenever you can, shame a woman. You know, you have to jostle them out of this hypnosis that they're in. They're not going to wake up any other way.
Women need men in the same way men need God, right? Because when the light of the man is not shining on the woman in the home, when they're little girls and the mothers, and when they go out into the world, if the men lights are not shining on them, they go out of control in every area of life. They don't have it in them to maintain a sense of modesty and decency. And I can guarantee you, if you can find any, I bet you most guys are not thinking, oh, she look like the kind of woman I can marry and be the mother of my children. They're, as Christian said, they're just thinking, hey, I can have sex with that. Because they're inviting you to do it. That's why they dress that way. And it's kind of, I know I made a lot of fun about it, joke about it, but somebody needs to help these women. They're lost. They need men to guide them. They need to be told how to dress, when to dress. When you go out, you're supposed to be looking like you got some sense, not like you're looking for sex. It's just wrong. Somebody need to tell them. But don't y'all do it. I don't want you to go get hurt or nothing, but.
Yeah, like what
Pick your
Nick said,
battles.
they say, teach men not to rape. And a woman has a right to dress however she wants.
But they dress like they're begging to be raped.
Right.
And the government, too, allows this thing. I remember as a kid, we went on a field trip in Toronto. And I didn't know back then, but looking back, what had happened is that they had repealed some kind of law that, you know, women couldn't be topless in public. And that day we were out and this topless woman ran by and we're just a bunch of 7th graders. We're like, what the?
Yeah. They go out of control when they don't have men to guide them. And then they make up excuses for being out of control. Oh, a woman can be like a man. No, she can't. Ladies, my heart goes out to you. Y'all look a mess. Really, I don't see a decent woman anymore. I mean, sometimes, once in a while, you see them, but it's rare. Last word, James.
That's it.
What are you talking about today on your show?
I'm going to have a fun time. I'm going to talk about this one teacher who was talking about, oh, if only everybody got the vaccine. And by the way, I hate Donald Trump, and you're smarter than your parents, to high schoolers.
Wow.
Crazy, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We played
You guys
that on
played
the show.
that?
Yeah.
Nice.
This week.
What?
I think it was this week.
What?
Might have been a while.
Yeah.
But I saw it. I'm like, I've been talking about this because they're trying to pretend that like the young people are so smart and they're not.
The Hake Report today from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time.
And tonight I'm going to be on Modern Day Debate.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
can't wait to this modern day debate at what time?
6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. Going to talk about Black Lives Matter versus a guy named Brenton Langell on Modern Day Debate YouTube channel.
Right on. The Hake guy going to be on there. You don't want to miss that. Nick, last word about the sluts.
Cover up, sluts.
Have some shame.
Yeah.
And I noticed
Bring
that
back shame.
I noticed that the people who make the clothes, they're making them tighter and thinner and tighter and tighter. And the women think that's cute.
The
Yep.
scrunch. I'm telling you, they know what they're doing.
Amazing. Last word, Chris.
Yeah, we gotta break this vicious cycle, and it will only be broken by men. Obviously, women clearly will just, as I've said before, just take you straight to hell. So it's not going to come from women, and you have to shake them. You have to grab them, and you gotta shake them.
I was watching this movie last night, and this woman and her boyfriend were arguing, and the boy lived with her, I guess. The boyfriend lived with her, so she kind of put him out, and he came back to the house with something, and she was about to get in the shower, so she had a little robe on, and she had the robe on like this, all covered up, when no one was in the house but herself. So she heard the boyfriend knocking, so she ran to the door to tell him to get away, but on her way to the door, she did this.
What a slut!
She was, I'm like, what a slut.
Just to mess with the man's head.
I guess.
Yeah,
She
apparently.
arguing at the guy saying, you gotta leave, but yet she pulled her thing down to show her breast. I'm like, women are so insecure.
Devils.
My experts, folks, thank you guys. I totally appreciate it.
Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.